Welcome to Hammer and Nails with Skip and Alison Bedell.
Guess who?
We're back.
We are back.
It's us. How you guys doing?
Hey, I'm Alison Bedell.
I'm Skip Bedell, and we're back at the ranch, back from our trip to Wisconsin, where it's like an Arctic wasteland. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was like a frozen tundra in that place.
1 degree. Thank you guys for coming back. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming back to the show.
We wanted to remind you guys that if you aren't, you can listen to the website, listen to the podcast on the website, hammernailspodcast.com. We wanted to just get that out there right away so that you are aware, just in case of any technical glitches as we attempt to transfer some data. And that's where you can always find us.
What are we doing? Like going from one server to another server? Or
Yeah.
There's a whole big thing going on there, right? Like you got to be like an IT person. So
I am the IT person, so
yeah.
it's all being handled. Don't worry about it.
You're the IT person?
Yeah.
Okay.
So our last episode, we had Kayleen.
She's so awesome.
Yeah. You know, I was upset that we didn't have more time with her. It would have been a longer. It was only an hour. Usually we go like at least an hour, 15,
really?
hour
I
and a
thought it
half.
was longer than that.
No, it was because we were all really hungry and we were all going out for dinner.
Well, that was after a long day of the home show out in Wisconsin, which also Kayleen presented, I guess.
Presented.
Whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Her, you know what? Her presentation was a performance.
Yeah, it was pretty good. She is
really
so
good.
like high energy and fun, and right. She's like showing pictures, and she's just fun.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people don't get the DIY network because, as she was saying, it's available only on the most expensive cable packages usually. Like you have to have the highest level package.
Like the one that comes with the porn?
Yeah, with the fake porn. Where you don't
I
see
hate
any
fake porn.
parts.
Are we talking about that recently?
Yeah.
Fake porn's the worst.
So I mean, a lot of people might not know who she is if they don't get those channels, but we were just really excited to have her on because in person she is just hysterical. She's really smart and I think super cool because she is a chick and she is in this industry where it's usually dudes. And she's just as badass as anybody else because she knows her shit.
Yep, she definitely does, and she's a lot of fun to be around. So
yeah,
we'll have to get her back on again. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about. We have a lot to talk about with that trip.
That trip was great.
It was a really good trip.
Yeah, we want to thank all the folks out at NARI, National Association for the Remodeling Industry, for bringing us out there. And I did a couple presentations on Saturday, two more on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. You know, if you haven't been to one of these home show things, when you hear about one coming to your town, check it out because it's basically like a giant trade show for the remodeling industry and all the different trade products that have to do with home remodeling and anything and everything you could possibly want to do for your projects in your house, inside, outside, the whole deal. So it was a lot of fun. In fact, I think one of the best things I saw there at that whole show was that tiny house.
Yeah, we saw a
Wasn't that thing
tiny
so cool?
House.
Yeah, if you guys have watched the show Tiny House,
They had a whole
it's not
tiny
Discovery
house.
or TLC or one of those.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's basically like a tiny house, and there's companies out there that specialize in manufacturing these really tiny houses,
And it's a
for the most
pre-built.
part that are set up. Yeah, they're all pre-built, and most of the time they come set up like on a trailer. You wouldn't even know it's on a trailer, but it's designed to like roll onto a site, and it takes up like, you know, minimal space. They jam so much stuff into this tiny little compartment, and it actually, you know, it's funny if you've ever watched the show. It makes you realize there's so much stuff that we have in our house and stuff that we, you know, surround ourselves with that you really don't need. So when you live in a small space like that, every single square inch of that space has to be functional and useful, you know, so the way they lay them out is really cool.
When I was staying with my dad after I had left my first girlfriend and I was about to buy...
Wait, you were with a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Ah.
Surprise.
Oh, yeah, you told me that already.
I was staying with my dad for a couple of months while I was in the transitional period of buying my first place. And so I stayed with my dad and I just had a room, like my own bedroom there, and I had my cats and Kilo with me, and at that time, I really didn't have anything with me because everything was in storage. And by the time I was moving out of my dad's place, it occurred to me I didn't need not one thing of all of my things.
No, you really don't. In fact, like 90% of the crap that we have in our houses, we really don't need.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's cool. Like, it's almost appealing. And when I've watched that show, Tiny Houses, if you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It really does make you sit and think, like, could I do that? Could I live in such a tiny little space?
Well, they do maximize the space so that you do have a kitchen, a living room, a bedroom, like a den. But one thing that was very noticeably missing to somebody like me was that there was not one closet.
Yeah, well, some of that is true. The storage space, they do creative things like
there was no place to put my clothing.
Yeah, they do like a lot of built-in stuff. So like the bed might be built into some of these things, kind of like a Murphy bed that'll fold out, and depending upon the size of them. The one that we saw was actually really big for a tiny house. Some of them were like,
and it had a loft.
Yeah, some of them were
like
about a third of that size. Or like, you could, like the size of our bathroom is like the whole house.
It's like a tree, like a little tree house.
Yeah, so I mean, like the desk doubles as a dining table, and really, that gets a little overboard.
Right.
But that one we saw was really laid out nice. It was like a miniature little house. It had a really nice kitchen, nice bathroom.
That's because there was a thing on the refrigerator that said that the price was $79,000. But then, as we got to like the top part there with the loft and the little picnic table and chairs, where the guy who worked for the company, I overheard him talking to somebody, and they were asking about how much it was, and he said this model is $139 as it was
fully decked out.
Yeah, that was
top of the line furnishings and like
big difference.
Cabinetry and granite. And, the thing was really outfitted nicely.
That's $60,000, $60,000 more than just the base price. So I'm thinking, what does the base model have? Like how much less can you live with?
That one, like from every surface on that thing was like the best of everything. So even on the outside, it had like really nice
wood,
like wood siding that was really. It was really outfitted nicely. So I'm sure they can cut back the price dramatically when they start scaling back those materials and putting on more basic.
It would have been really funny because it had a really decent sized bathroom. It would have been really fucking funny if not somebody, but I just had a vision of somebody going in there and crapping in the toilet,
just blowing it up. Because there was a line of people, like you were kind of like on this conveyor belt, like you walk in, not really a conveyor belt, but you know what I mean? Like there was a continuous line of people that would walk in one end of it, go through the whole tour, and you come out the other end. Right. And because it's a tiny house, it takes all of about 30 seconds.
Right.
So yeah, that would be funny.
Especially like an upper decker.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, where is it coming from? And they'd never think to look in the tank.
Somebody just like dipped in there quick, just shut the door and just like dropped a bomb and then like ran out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's like almost as bad as like letting one go in the elevator, right? And then like everybody gets in, you step off.
That reminds me. There was a Jackass episode where the guy went into a plumbing supply store and he sat on a toilet in the middle of the store and he took a shit. Right?
That's great. That was a great episode. There's like bunch of toilets on display
right.
and like he just comes in, takes out a newspaper,
pulls
out his bag. No, they're not hooked up. There's no water in them or anything. It's just like they're just like displaying what they look like.
Yeah.
Like they're on the shelves like at Home Depot, but usually they're up out of your reach. Imagine if you could like sit on one of those and just like drop a giant loaf in that thing.
My brain is working right now. Getting some funny pictures in the Home Depot on the display toilets.
Oh my God, that would be great.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, we should do that.
I would totally do that.
Take some pictures and.
I mean, like pants at ankles, full blown, sitting on a toilet in the Home Depot.
Yeah, that would probably be the ends of any shot for ever getting a sponsorship at Home Depot for me. So.
Oh yeah,
it's funny because they just sent me a really great letter and this whole big box of tools from like the corporate office in Atlanta of Home Depot, and they love my DIY segments on Fox and Friends and all that stuff, and they sent me a whole bunch of tools. And,
that would ruin that.
Yeah, that would be like, hey, remember that whole like nice note we sent you?
Remember that giant dump you took in the Home Depot?
Remember the tools that we sent you? How about you send them back?
Yeah, okay. Well,
that means we'll have to do it in a different store. We'll do it in the Lowe's.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
do it in the competition. Let's go crap up Lowe's.
That's a great idea.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so the show was great. We had a lot of fun there. We met a bunch of people, man. And for those of you listening to the podcast that were at the show, there was a bunch of fans that came from like all over, like
Milwaukee,
the middle of the country, and like a few people came from even out of state to come to the show and meet us and take some pictures. And it was just really nice that people support us and stuff. We want to thank you guys. For those of you that were there, we want to thank you for coming, and hope you had a great time because it was cool meeting you.
Yeah, so there were some really nice vendors there that were big fans of the show, so that was really cool.
Yeah, a lot of everybody was really
They were all
nice.
local, and we weren't really sure what to expect when we got there. I wasn't sure if there was going to be manufacturers there, but that's not the kind. They don't go to those. They go to those bigger shows, like the trade show that we missed in last month
and some of the other ones
Las
in
Vegas.
Yeah, like the
This
big,
is all
big ones.
local vendors with their local businesses, but it was really cool to look around nonetheless.
A
Because
lot of contracting companies, remodelers, and people that all do all different trades, and but they were mostly local from that area.
It was cool seeing some of the displays. They brought our pictures because I need ideas for a new kitchen and our new bathroom.
Right. Well,
that
now,
is on hold.
For you guys that have been listening, you know that right before we left for this trip, I ripped out our entire kitchen and bathroom.
And bedroom.
Yeah, and part of it, a guest bedroom as well. So now that our house is like in the midst of construction zone, which I'm used to being around when I go to work, but now we're living in it. So
and there's shit everywhere.
Yeah, well, not everywhere, but there's stuff displaced. Let's say. Yeah. What used to be in one room is now in every other room of the house.
In a box. Yeah, it's a mess.
We look like we're moving right now.
Yeah.
But that's part of construction. But, we got some really cool ideas, a lot of cool products and stuff. And you know what I really like was like a lot of that, a lot of the live wood, like they had actual slabs of wood cut from giant walnut trees and all different types of cypress trees. And
you can make that.
Still had the bark on it and... no, you can't really make that unless you cut the tree down and mill it and have a giant kiln to dry it. You can buy those.
Oh, the kiln is the issue. The kiln.
Well, of course.
Okay, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, thanks for being you can make anything, but there's some things you need special equipment to make. So, But anyway, those slabs of wood that you can get from these people, and even like all the reclaimed wood dealers and stuff. Yeah. There's some great products out there and that's like right what we want to do. That's our
we like
our
the wood.
type of
we like the old wood.
It's nice to hear that you like the wood.
I love your old wood.
My wood might be old, but it's still
better than ever.
It's still rigid and strong. Occasionally, I leave a splinter.
So at this show also, I find myself really having a craving for healthy food, which you cannot find at one of these types of exhibition centers, and so we ate a cheese brat both days.
Yeah, well.
It's like a giant fucking hot dog with cheese in the middle.
It's a bratwurst.
I don't know.
So you never had one.
I never had one before. All I know is that
never had a giant hot dog.
Right. So, but this is the thing about the brat with the cheddar in it, or whatever kind of fucking cheese is in it, is that when it's hot and you bite into it, you fucking burn your tongue like something ridiculous. Oh my God. Like nobody cautions you. There's no signs around that says.
Hot cheese.
Bite with caution.
There'll be hot goo shooting out of this giant hot dog.
Right? Exactly that.
I know you're not used to that until you met me, but, no.
It wasn't even that. This thing was, on fire, though, hot. The cheese was hot, and I burned my tongue. I wasn't happy about it.
So those things were awesome, though. You guys had bratwurst, and that's, one of the things they're known for out there is...
We didn't really have enough cheese out there for Wisconsin.
Of course, cheese, beer, amazing beers out there if you're into beer. The bratwurst, there's certain things out there that you eat when you're in Wisconsin.
I saw I saw bratwurst in the grocery store. Before, what's the difference if it's there or if it's here?
Well, it's just they make everything there on site, so
they
make that stuff. So.
Yeah, so if I made something and shipped it out to somebody, it would be the same.
Oh, really?
Whatever.
Oh, okay.
So we had some.
Well, the cheese they make right there.
Okay.
Yeah, cheese curds. Who knows what a cheese curd? I got some
cheese under my toe now.
I have no idea what a cheese curd was until I went to Wisconsin, and that's a whole other thing. You guys could check out cheese curds. It's kind of
sounds disgusting.
It's kind of like a fried cheese ball type of thing, but actually it's ridiculously good. And I can see why a lot of people in the Midwest might have some weight issues because they eat a lot of fried food, a lot of cheese, and a lot of beer.
We had
all good stuff.
All
oh my
fattening
God!
stuff.
If I lived out there, I'd be like 400 pounds.
So we had.
I love all that stuff.
We had some interesting airplane experiences before we got there.
Yeah.
The first of which was we brought we always bring a rolling luggage, like the small suitcase, and a carry-on. So I had booked the Comfort Plus on Delta, which is the bigger seat that reclines nicer, and it's the better seat. It's kind of comparable to the Even More on JetBlue. And we get to the plane, and we go to walk out onto the what is it called?
The jetway.
And there is no jetway. There's a stairway that takes us down to the outdoors of LaGuardia Airport, where it's 1 degree and breezy, and there's a bus waiting there for us.
Right.
We have to get on a bus that drives us to this, like Volkswagen Beetle-sized plane.
Can I just say this? If you're in New York and you're flying and there's any way you could possibly avoid ever having anything to do with LaGuardia Airport, stay far the hell away from that place.
It's the worst fucking place
that
ever.
place is such a mess between the construction.
And no signage.
There's no sign to tell you where to go. Every time it seems like we go there, we're either lost or we're locked in, like we can't get out because
it is not made for people to know where they're going.
Is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So, yeah, it was interesting that we got there, and now we're getting on the plane, and it's like, 10 degrees out.
Yeah.
And now you go outside, and you get kind of like you walk underneath where those jetways are. Like, you're outside where they're loading the luggage and stuff.
And not to mention that because the plane is so small, the overhead's not big enough to hold our rolling onboard luggage, the kind that, that you're supposed to put above you when you go on a normal plane. Right. It doesn't fit in this plane, so you have to put it on this fucking thing so that they can put it under the plane as you're walking up the stairs to get on the plane like it's 1975. So that pissed me off because I put all my delicate things...
Even in 1975, they had jetways. I don't know what
Did they?
About.
I don't remember that. I don't know about that. I would do a little research on that.
Come on.
I don't think so. I think it's more of a latter part of the century thing.
Really?
I believe so.
So you're saying like in the earlier years you always had to walk out on the runway to get on the plane?
Always had to walk out.
Well, yeah, but I mean at some point they had to start making jetways.
Yeah, I think it was after the 75.
I'm going to look this up. I need to know this now.
All right, well,
this is important information that we all need to know.
You look it up.
I'm gonna.
So now we're in this teeny tiny little plane, which, by the way, I was really pissed because my Comfort Plus seat didn't really seem like it was very Comfort Plus. It looked like the same as the other seats that were behind it, which was not much different. And this particular plane, there was 2 seats on each side, right? It was 2, me, you, and then on the other side was 2. So the guy goes up and he's telling everybody how to do the the seatbelt and all that bullshit that you don't pay attention to before they take off. Yeah. And at some point, we're sitting towards the front of the the bulkhead behind first class. What are they called now? Flight attendant.
We were in second class.
We were in second class. The flight attendant guy, who happens to be standing in the aisle next to our seats, looks at Skip and tells him to make sure he puts his seatbelt on, and Skip says it's on. And the fucking guy asked Skip,
I have my coat
on his lap.
In my lap, yeah.
So the fucking guy didn't believe you and asked you to move your jacket so that he could see your crotch.
He's like, let me see that. And I'm like, really, man? Are you serious? Like I just told you it's on. He's like, no, can you show me? I'm like, what
fucking
am I, 5 years old?
Yeah,
Like, all right, so I lift up my jacket, and he just looks away. He's like,
because I know.
And he was like, I thought I was going to catch him.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, really?
I know
Do you
that
think I put the seatbelt on because you tell me to?
Right.
If that were the case, I'd never put it on. Yeah.
You know that there's like a lot of flight attendants
I put it on because I want to put my seatbelt on, be safe.
There's a lot of flight attendants who know that they have this power. Remember that cunty flight attendant that we had a couple years ago on JetBlue? And she was just power hungry. They have this authority that they can kick you off the plane if you even talk back to them.
And they can.
Yeah. Even if you tell them.
Did they kick Lynette off the plane?
Yes, and she didn't even do anything.
Oh my God.
She didn't even do anything.
She got stranded in the airport the whole night. Where was she? Vegas someplace?
Yeah, she was in Vegas. So if I would have looked up at this guy and be like, fucking really, guy? They could have kicked us off the plane for that.
Oh, yeah.
So it was...
Yeah, if you answer them back and you say anything back to them,
You get one of those power-hungry fucking cocksuckers that always wished he was a cop, but he ended up on a fucking plane. They're going to be the ones to kick you off.
You'll have to leave the plane right now.
Yep.
And then you're like, I'm not leaving. I didn't do anything. And then it's like, I'm
going to get
security.
The pilot.
And then the police are coming on the plane.
Fucking assholes.
Oh, yeah.
So I was fucking pissed at that asshole.
Because you couldn't visually see.
Right.
And he wasn't going
you're
around.
You're a liar.
Yeah, he wasn't going around to check everyone's seatbelt.
Right.
He just happened to be standing next to us when he was doing a little demonstration with the face mask and
because he thought he was going to get one because he's
flotation
that
device.
big guy. I'm going to show him who's boss. He showed you.
Oh, yeah, he showed me.
And then, do you remember what happened after that?
When I lifted up my jacket and I showed him his seatbelt, he looked like disgusted. He was like, oh.
Yeah.
He's like, he thought he was going to catch me. Really?
Yeah. And do you remember what happened after that?
Douche.
We were supposed to pull out and take off, but there was whatever was delaying us, and we were just sitting there. We hadn't even pulled out a little bit. We were just still sitting there waiting to back out.
I hate pulling out.
And then, so now we're just sitting there, and I'm thinking, fuck, so I might as well just, like, listen to a podcast or something on my phone. Oh, shit, my earplugs are in my pocketbook, which is over us in the overhead compartment. So I get up, I stand up, I open up the bin, and I go to get my pocketbook.
Yeah, that lady almost flew.
That is fucking bitch came running over.
She flipped out. She was like, oh, you can't get out of your seat. What are you doing?
The seatbelt sign is still illuminated. You can't get out of your seat.
Oh, God.
So I was like, yeah, she was like bugging. So I was like, oh, well, I didn't realize, I said, I realized I forgot to take my medication. So I had like my bottle of pills in my bag. So I got my bag and I sat down and I opened up my pill bottle, and then she stood there, though, while I was getting my pocketbook and the pills out of, like, she stood there and watched me, what I was doing. Like, I said to her, I was just getting my pills, and, like, she couldn't walk away. She had to fucking stand there and watch me, just like the dick watched you for your seatbelt. She stood there and waited for me to get my bag, close the thing, sit down, put on my seatbelt, and then proceeded to stand there. And then she says, oh, well, would you like some water then for that? Oh, yeah, thank you, actually. Yeah, I would. So I ended up taking a Xanax that I wouldn't have really taken.
So
just to make her look like an asshole.
Well, you really showed her. I was wondering why you were like a wet noodle the whole flight. You're like, darn.
No, I wasn't. Don't even.
I'm kidding.
You're exaggerating greatly.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, I took the pill because I wanted to, like, prove my point. Like, fuck you, bitch, I forgot my medication. You can't make me sit down. Because really, we were just sitting there doing nothing anyway.
Did you say it like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck you, bitch.
All right,
Who
Yolanda.
do you think you're talking to, motherfucker? Yeah, so that really pissed me off about that fucking plane. So we're in a fucking Volkswagen Beetle with these two fucking Nazis on the plane. And then thank God the flight back was a bigger plane. We had at least one extra row, one extra in the aisle. It was like 3 and 2. So it was a little bit bigger, our luggage fit.
So that was Delta, right? We usually fly JetBlue, so it's a little bit different setup. But
Delta is comparable to JetBlue when you take the larger planes, like for the longer flights. Because if you remember, when we took that Delta to California, not only did they have better television sets with a better selection, it was touchscreen. The charging for your phone was right in front of you on the seat back in front of you, instead of like you have to like blindly search for it underneath your seat like on JetBlue.
You're like reaching down under your seat.
Just trying to find a hole, like feel with your fingers like the fucking Braille to figure out which hole does this USB go into. And then the seat reclining.
You got to feel around in the dark.
Yeah.
To find the hole. The little USB plug.
The seat recline on the Delta Comfort Plus seats on the long distance flights and on this flight back from Wisconsin. Did you notice not only does it go back, but then at some point, like your ass slides forward, like the cushion that your ass is sitting on slides forward, you get even more of a recline.
Whoa.
So if the price is comparable, I would choose Delta over JetBlue for those long flights. But for a short flight, fuck that shit, man.
All right. Well, all I know is the show went well regardless of the travel, and I am sold on the tiny house. I think we should just move out of this whole place and just get a tiny house.
And the kitchen will take you a day to build.
We should just relocate to the tool shed in the backyard because I think we'll just push the mower out onto the into the lawn and stuff, and I think after seeing that, we could do it.
We could do it.
We could totally do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need a toilet room that size, like a whole bathroom, like that size.
Yeah.
The shed.
Yeah.
Nice big bathroom.
You do.
So what else is going on in your life?
All kinds of good stuff going on. Jobs happening, and this one here in particular that's really kind of taking precedent now because now that it's in our own house, we got to get this thing done. So, yeah, it's back to, now that we're back in New York, I'm looking forward to knocking this thing out. And, I had that whole thing going on with my back, which is really been giving me a hard time. So that seems to be a little bit better now. So I'm looking forward to getting back on.
Yeah, build me a kitchen.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to build it for you.
Okay.
Yeah. and then I expect you to cook in it.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know why you keep saying you need a kitchen when you don't cook anything. Although you did make a pretty mean meatloaf last night.
I've been on a meatloaf kick lately. I think I made meatloaf 3 times in the last 2 weeks. And I made 6 pounds of it each time, right?
Yeah. And it disappears in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually eat like at least 1 tray the night you make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All gone.
At least like 2-3 pounds of meat, like, the first night.
Well, and I'm also
Something
addicted to making
seriously wrong with
cookies.
me.
I'm going to put more recipes up on the website. I did put a new cookie recipe up on there, and I'm going to put a few more. Check back periodically at the website, skipandalisonbedell.com, and then go under the top menu there where you see my name. Click on my name. You're going to see latest obsessions, and under there it says recipes. I'm going to be putting some awesome. I only cook healthy cookies. Only bake healthy cookies, so I don't put any sugar, no gluten, no flour, no wheat, but yet they taste amazing, right?
How is it possible that there's no sugar, no flour, no wheat, no butter,
No gluten.
no gluten,
Yep.
but they still taste really good?
Amazing.
Yeah. I don't know how you do that, but
'Cause
somehow you
that's-
imagine.
'cause it's an
Even like
obsession.
if you put chocolate in, it's like sugar-free chocolate, right?
Yeah. Because it's my obsession. I'm determined to make the most amazing cookies that you can eat a lot of, and
Well,
they're
that's because
healthy.
like you really love cookies.
Yes.
Like you would eat cookies all day for like every meal
Yeah.
if you could.
Yeah. So
What's going on in the news? What's
Well, there's a
what's
lot going on in the
happening?
news.
I feel like
Well,
we're missing like everything going on in the
I
world.
know.
'Cause, like,
I know.
we're
I just found out
traveling
today.
around the country and doing all these things, right?
Natalie Cole died. I just found this out today. It was like months ago.
And you just found out today?
Yes.
Hey, so listen, if you're ever looking for a source to get the most current, up-to-date, like this just in newsflash, you can get it here. It might be like, 30 to 60 or 90 days
Yeah.
late, but
So
we'll give you the news.
breaking news: Natalie Cole died.
2 months ago. Oh, my God. Well, that's terrible.
So, yeah, I was sad about that.
What was, what?
I know.
what?
She had some lung condition. Then it gave her a heart problem, and then she had breathing issues, and now she's gone.
That's sad.
I also recently discovered how much I love James Corden. He does the Late Late Show, and he's been doing that Carpool Karaoke.
Oh, he's awesome.
Oh, my God. First of all, we love karaoke.
Yeah.
Second of all, I love singing in the car. I sing in the car, whether I'm alone or with
Let me just
people.
say one thing about that. Yes, whether you're alone or with people. Because when we're in the car, you sing every word to every song that's
Yes.
on the radio.
And I always have. Always. Everybody who's ever known me knows I sing every single song in the car, and I know every word.
Am I the only one that's ever said, do you know you sing every word to every song?
No, you're not the only one. Right. I mean, even when
I would imagine like you probably piss some people off.
Even
really.
when I'm like doing like home visits and on surveillance, we're in the car singing. Me and Tara, we used to be in the car. We used to be singing our like 80s, and Salt and Pepper. We were singing everything in the car.
I can see the two of you
Oh,
doing
yeah.
like the salt and pepper dance.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Always 80s music, like in the car on surveillance. It's awesome.
Wow.
So
you had your Flashdance sweatshirt on, hanging off one shoulder.
Not while
Your
I'm
headband.
working. So James Corden and these, if you haven't seen it, he has all these clips on YouTube of his Carpool Karaoke. Not only is he singing with the people that he has in the car, like their famous singing artists, but he interviews them, and it's funny.
Yeah, every one of them are famous singing celebrities. They're famous singing people. And it's so cool how he does that whole thing.
And they're all about maybe
you kinda
5
get to know
minutes,
them.
5-6 minutes long or so, and it's really funny. So you can find that on YouTube. So if you guys find yourself bored, it's something to look up.
Was it Carpool Karaoke?
No, just type in James Corden.
Yeah.
Cordon, I think it is, right. And all of his shit will come right up because they all go on YouTube. They're really fucking funny. There's a really good one with Adele. That's a good one.
There's a really good one with Elton John.
That was a good one.
I like
Justin Bieber was a good one.
Oh, I didn't see the Justin Bieber
Jennifer Hudson. That was a really good one. She's got a great sense of humor, and she can sing. Oh my God!
Which one did we watch the other day? Elton John.
Yeah, Elton John.
Adele. Who else did we see? Both of those were awesome.
Yeah. I forgot who else we watched. I just watched a whole bunch of them.
He's really funny too.
He's very funny. I'm
very
digging him. But he does the Late Late Show, and we're not up late.
No.
So
no, we're like the early the early late show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not even early late, just early.
Yeah. Oh, I also found out today, unrelated to that it looks like we're not going to have a contract at work anytime soon. So I just wanted to put it out there that Suffolk County is really disgusting to me right now, and the fact that they keep making up bullshit politics to postpone signing a contract for us. We haven't had a contract in 6 years. We're out there.
Weren't you just saying that you heard you were getting it?
Yeah, they were supposed to because they'd already came to an agreement, both sides, like as far as like with the county exec's guy and our union guy, and then it has to go on the county exec's desk to sign. But he's been ignoring it because like the county has no money supposedly, and so they don't want to.
Crying the blues. We're broke.
Well, yeah, so they think that justifies not giving us a contract. So we're out there every day putting our lives on the line to save the public, but they don't think we should get paid for it.
You know, like what happens if the police go on strike?
They can't.
That would be interesting, right?
It just disgusts me that they
I think then they
abuse the
realize
system like
how
that.
much they like. Yeah, imagine if there was like one day the police just said we're going on strike. Let's see what happens on that one day. It would be like that movie, The Purge.
Yeah, you know, we just
that, right?
watched Law Abiding Citizen.
Awesome
last
movie.
night, and I think we probably watched it about 4 times maybe. Every time it's like on TV, we happen to just keep watching it.
Just keep watching it. It's kind of like Seven. It's like just another one of those movies, right?
And the more disgusted I get with the criminal justice system, the more I feel like I can relate to that movie and root for him as he's killing everybody. Because everybody that he's killing all had a part in injustice, in these criminals getting away with murder.
Right. He was also talking about a lot of corruption that's going
Yes.
on, too, that, how everybody's getting either paid off or, something's happening in the legal system to where people are getting pushed through the system and back
They're just
out
pushing
on
it
the
through,
street.
just to win cases and just to get the win and plea deals and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
and
if you haven't seen Law Abiding Citizen, definitely check out that movie.
movie.
It was awesome.
Yeah, great movie.
You know what's really funny, though? Seeing him in that role and then seeing him play the guy in 300 with the Spartans.
Yeah.
It's like
he's really good.
Really good.
Is that Gerard Butler?
Yeah, Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the makeup and the setting and the special effects and everything can totally transform that character, because I don't even recognize him at all from one person to the other. Some actors you see, they look like the same person in every movie.
Yeah.
But they're kind of they're playing it's maybe similar but different person.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
AntMan.
Yeah.
You guys take an observation of this, because AntMan is out now, like it's on video and you can watch it and all that. I think that they're using a body double when he's in the costume, because Paul Rudd, if you also take notice while you're watching the movie, he has a very long torso and little teeny tiny legs. He's got a really strange proportional makeup. He's got these little tiny legs, but then when he's Ant-Man, he's got long legs.
Well, of course.
Anyway.
He's Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's have long legs, right?
Okay. Anyway.
There you go.
So what
else in the news? What do you got?
So there's some disgusting things I found in the news.
Oh, no.
Yeah. A toddler died after her 3-year-old siblings locked her in the oven and turned it on.
Come on.
Yeah. So this douchebag of a negligent mother left her 4 young children at home alone while she went out with her boyfriend.
How old is the oldest?
I don't know, actually. They're all toddlers. So
they're all toddlers.
Yeah. So the two 3-year-olds put the 18-month-old into the oven and turned it on. And when they were telling the police what happened, like the little kids were telling what happened, part of their description was that the baby was kicking the oven door while it was on, and she was baking.
Oh my God!
And the baby died.
Yeah. No, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, the mother tried to. By the time they got home, she tried to give her CPR, but it was already too late. She was too badly burned.
CPR? What the hell is CPR going to do?
Because she's retarded. Nothing. It's not going to do anything.
The kid was baked like
yeah, exactly, like a meatloaf.
So there are laws in place that actually say how old a person. If the child is under, I think 13 or 14, they have to be. It's supposed to be under supervision of another person, but there's like a whole age thing there. Like you can't just leave a baby with another baby.
No, I mean, but the fact that I think even probably younger than 13. But regardless, what kind of a retarded person really will, like she's definitely has to be retarded. What other explanation could there be? And like she has to have a very, very low intelligence level and not understand that you can't leave children alone like that because they do things like that.
I'm wondering if like drugs or alcohol or anything played a part in that, because if mom was like going out to get high or something, it's like, who cares?
Yeah, all the kids were taken away. Yeah, so she's fucked. There was
that is crazy.
another cool thing that I've seen on the internet now is that there's this viral video of this girl kicking the shit out of some boy, which was very cool. But it's becoming like this big fucking to-do they're making out of this, and the school is trying to get Facebook to take the video off because it shows minors, it shows their faces, and because I forget what it was. But meanwhile, so Facebook said, no, they're not taking it off. It doesn't violate any of their rules. Which, by the way, was very funny because I had already sent them, like, people were sending me porn shit. Nope, doesn't violate. Nope, dick's hanging out. Nope, doesn't violate anything. Oh, somebody used, kind of,
yeah,
they don't fucking even look at anything.
Their playbook, their rule book is, like, really kind of skewed and fucked up because I know people that have had stuff taken down or they got, like, put on temporary.
And they didn't do anything.
Or they got a timeout. Like,
how many times did Joe get kicked off of Facebook?
Oh, my God, Joe Cumia kicked off of Facebook a few times, right?
And he didn't.
It's supposed to be something like, like maybe racial or whatever it is,
right.
But no problem if you want to put your dick pics on there,
yeah,
though.
That's fine. I get it all the fucking time.
Evidently.
People tag me in them. I just love that. Thanks, people. So what I was wanted to say about this video.
The problem is I'm getting dick pics sent to me. That's a real problem. I expect you to be getting them, not me. I don't want to see your dick,
Queers
guys.
love
Stop
me.
sending
They love
me pictures.
Skip.
Stop it.
So what I love about this video is, first of all you see is it starts with the girl is already, like, she throws the guy to the ground, and I think she, like, almost puts him, like, in a headlock, and then she elbows him in the head.
Nice.
And then she, like, kind of, like, she stumbles a little bit. Her skirt goes up in the air. She's wearing a skirt.
She's in a skirt?
She's wearing a skirt.
This is even better.
And then after that, then she gets up and she starts to run away. And one of the teachers is like, "Who is that? Get her! Stop her!" And, like, this teacher's is telling people to go after the girl who's now running away to stop her. Now I'm thinking, without seeing the beginning of the video, who knows what the fuck this asshole boy was doing to incite the girl from kicking his ass. Like, he could have tried to touch her inappropriately. Maybe he had raped her and she just saw him again for the first time. Like, who knows what the fuck he did that she may be defending herself, but she just happened to be the one who was winning the fight.
You didn't get that part on the video, though.
No! And then you get this dickwad of a fucking teacher going, go after her, stop her. Like, fuck you! You know what I mean? Like, how about help her instead of go after her because she's in trouble for hitting this kid? Like, really? Really? I can't stand it. I'm just disgusted.
Right. So maybe he really deserved the beating.
Maybe he did, but what's disgusting me, though, about this whole thing on Facebook, he probably
deserved
it. Yeah. Because, first of all, the school is making, like, a big stink like she's in trouble, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, nobody saw the beginning of the video. How do we not know that? Why couldn't she have been defending herself just because she's winning the fight? She's vicious. It's like the way they're wording it is that there's a vicious attack.
Oh yeah, you can't even defend yourself. Yeah.
So because you're a better fighter, now you're in trouble.
Right, you're going to get in trouble for defending yourself. But the best part is, guess what? He's got to live with that video forever on the internet. The little girl in a skirt kicking his ass.
He's going to turn into a murderer trying to make up for it. Actually,
he's
going to do some vicious shit trying to get his rep back.
Yeah, and he'll get his ass kicked again. There you go. Take that.
So we were talking about the Super Bowl halftime show and how we loved it. It was awesome music. What I had forgotten, I didn't mention before that was before the halftime show, I had seen this video online. It was a new song that Beyonce had just put out. And the video and the song, horrendous. Really fucking bad. And it was like, I don't know who listens to this or watches this video and thinks, yeah, this is great, because it's like...
I've heard so many people say that. Like, usually I'm like, whatever, but so many people have agreed, like, this video sucks.
Yeah, it's really bad, and the song is really bad, and the lyrics... I didn't understand every word she said, but it sounded like a little bit inflammatory. So as it turns out, that's the song that she was singing at the beginning of her Super Bowl halftime performance. Uh-huh. And it also turns out that the outfits that her dancers and she was wearing were all like a call out to the Black Panthers. Uh-huh. So who was like a violent group back in the day in the 60s. And so basically they're saying that there's all these groups now protesting Beyonce because they think that she's trying to incite violence against the police. Because essentially, based on the outfit, then they held up this sign afterwards. There's pictures on the internet of her dancers holding up this sign making reference to a kid who got beaten up by the police. And all the dancers was doing that arm out thing, what is that called?
Well, like the Hitler salute?
No, but with the fist.
The fist
basically basically oppositional to the
you.
police. The same police that protect them when they go places because they're fucking famous. The same police that protect basically the public, and you get a couple of bad apples. Everybody forgets why the police is actually there.
Well, like I said, the police should go on strike for one day, nationwide, just across the country. We're just going to take the day off. And see how let's see how you make it. Isn't
there a movie where they do that, where you're allowed to kill people for one day?
I said that before, The Purge.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it was only for 1 hour.
Oh.
Of one day.
Can I get a head start and get to somebody's house?
Or a couple hours or something. It was only part of one day, once a year. They have this annual thing to where you can go out and commit any crime you want, murder, anything. So I've been wanting to watch that movie for the longest time, but it looks like it's part 2 just came out, I think, recently.
Yeah, so
we got to check that out.
Yeah, so I'm happy that there's an anti-Beyonce movement going on right now because the fact that she's trying to make the Super Bowl her personal platform for a cause like that really makes me just disgusted with her as well.
What has to say about all this? Jay-Z.
I'm sure he's supporting. I know what he has to say about it.
What's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's $1 million, Jay. Here's another $1 million.
All right, I'm out.
Fucking kidding me.
Drops the mic on the stage. Now pay me.
In other news,
how
lay it on me. How you've been seeing those McDonald's burgers? People are like, I got this McDonald's burger. I bought it 6 years ago, and it looks exactly the same. And there's people posting all over old McDonald's meals that have not changed since the day they bought it. And so I was doing a little bit of searching online, and I had found this really interesting video that explains.
What do you mean not change? Like they still make it the same way?
No. It didn't rot.
Oh.
It was in your pocket, and 6 years later, it looks exactly the same, like you just bought it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they say about hot dogs. They say hot
dogs
like
if you find it in the landfill.
Sulfates and all these. Yeah. It just doesn't go bad.
Yeah, I think that might explain hot dogs. But there was some research done, and not just on McDonald's burgers, though, but on regular, anybody's homemade hamburgers. And the reason why they aren't rotting is because they have a lot of surface area, and they dry out quickly and easily. Without moisture, you can't grow mold or bacteria. So therefore, it essentially turns into like a beef jerky, because that's how they make jerky. It's dried out meat. So
wow,
yeah. So essentially,
who knew?
Well, now you do. Wow. Yeah. So the whole point was it's not exclusive to McDonald's burgers. It's pretty much like if you got any other kind of burger, it's gonna stay the same for a really fucking long time unless the ants get to it and eat it.
All right, let me see if I understand this now. So are you suggesting that we could make a burger, go out there and grill it on the back porch there, and just leave it out and not refrigerate it, and it's going to stay okay? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I would take it out of the barbecue so it can get exposed to some air, but yeah, it'll stay the same. It'll look the same. It won't taste the same.
So you could even eat it like a few days later and not have any problems? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say that you won't have problems.
Yeah, I don't know anyone listening to this wants to try this experiment.
No, I'm saying it's not going to be fresh. It will likely upset your stomach, but I'm saying it won't grow the bacteria that something moist would grow, like moldy. It won't get moldy, and it won't get the same bacteria that moisture produces.
So, all right. So, is this like research that's been?
Yes.
So people are actually doing these experiments on burgers?
No, they're not doing experiments, but people supposedly. Well, yes, people are doing experiments. I take it back. People were doing experiments, and they were posting the results of day 1,374 of their chicken McNuggets.
Oh, I got to see this. Chicken McNuggets now.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
You don't even want to know what's in
Yeah,
there.
but there's a reason why some things aren't rotting the way that you would expect them
What do they say?
to.
Some chicken McNuggets, like elbows and assholes or something.
Yeah,
It's like
beaks and eyeballs.
It's like all the parts that like they don't want of the chicken. They throw it in a grinder.
If it is not like in its muscular form, like where you can see the lines, like through the chicken meat, like I don't want it.
Yeah.
Then, I want to...
If it's like ground up.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want it.
Yeah, like particles of meat, like yeah.
And it's like pressed into a shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Like spackle.
Yeah. That reminds me of our Valentines Day dinner in Milwaukee that we had on Sunday night because it was our last night there. We were leaving in the morning. It happened to be Valentine's Day on Sunday. We went out for a nice dinner the night before with Kayleen and her boyfriend to a lovely restaurant.
That was a great restaurant.
Yeah, and by the way, that was another
right
cute...
on the lake.
Yeah,
right?
and we happened
Beautiful.
to find that restaurant. Long story short, Kayleen got us an Uber, and we all went to this bar that she found online. And after our 20-minute trip in an Uber, it turns out the bar was closed until March for construction. They were not open. So then the nice Uber driver, this Bulgarian lady who sounded like Dracula, she knew of a restaurant.
Yeah, we were asking her like if she
water.
knew about Transylvania and like Dracula, and she's like, "What?" She's like, "She thought we
I've
were
been in
crazy."
this country for 20 years.
Yeah, I don't sound like Dracula. I'm like, no, you sound like Dracula. It's like, I don't sound like Dracula.
So she told us about this great restaurant.
Now, where do you want to go?
We had a lovely dinner on the water. It was the most amazing view. And so we had a lovely dinner for Saturday night. But Sunday night, Valentine's Day, we were in our room. It was 1 degree outside. We had no car. We did not want to go anywhere because it was Sunday and everything was closed according to like everybody.
Yeah, all the
around
restaurants
there.
were
Everything
closed.
was closed.
In fact, the restaurant, we would go to downstairs, come back from the show, finished up my last presentation. We're wrapping up for the weekend. Now we have the rest of the night free. Let's go back to the room, change our clothes, and go down to they had a nice restaurant in the hotel. Went down there, closed.
That shit
I'm
was
like,
closed.
What
the fuck, man?
I'm like, now what are we going to do?
So the girl at the front desk who was, she was a big girl. She had some menus at the front of places that delivered. And the reason I mentioned she's a big girl is because it was based on that observation that I took her recommendation. Which restaurant would be the best? Because she has eaten from all of these places.
That's fucking terrible. She was a very nice girl.
She was very nice, but she was really going on about this chicken place.
Oh my God, she couldn't stop talking about the chicken place.
It's even better than KFC.
Yeah, she's like, I like it better even than KFC. I'm like, really?
I'm like, this girl got to know what she's talking about. I'm going to go with the chicken place. So we ordered a bucket.
She's doing a lot of eating, so I guess she must know what the hell's good.
Yeah, I mean, really, think about it. If there was like some skinny somebody, I don't know. I don't know that I would have so heavily weighted, no pun intended, her opinion on a restaurant.
I know some really skinny people who like to eat.
But think about this. If there's people,
they just don't gain weight.
No, there are people who really like to eat healthy, and so their opinion of these 3 choices would have been very different than the heavy girl's opinion of these. Their
opinion of those 3 choices that we got
would have been, don't eat at any of them.
Yeah, do not eat any of them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, therefore...
At that point, we're just, like, so hungry.
Yeah.
We just want to eat something.
Yeah,
so,
and it's like when you're hungry in the grocery store and everything, like, you want everything. So, after reading these menus, I was kind of, like, a little disgusted. Like, oh, nothing looks healthy at all. So now it's which is the least bad. There was no place
that was open. So this is, like, it's like, what is it, like 8, 9 o'clock at night, right?
It was the least bad of all
Sunday
of them.
Sunday night. These are the only places that are left. There's, like, a pizza place, a Chinese food place, and this chicken place, right? So... we're like, all right, we'll just try to do like, eat like the best out of all 3. We'll probably have the best luck getting some chicken, right? So let's get some chicken and we'll do that.
So then, in addition to a bucket of chicken, we also ordered some barbecued ribs because I'm thinking it's meat. And then at the end, I was like, yeah, throw in some mozzarella sticks because I'm
that's healthy.
It's cheese.
That's healthy.
So the food came and it was... the first thing I tried was a mozzarella stick, and it was super salty, and I was like, oh, God. So then I started picking off all the breading, and I was just trying to eat just the cheese. Then we started eating the chicken, and it was chicken, it was greasy like fried chicken is, and then we had some ribs. And then after we ate all of these things, I felt really disgusting.
Right.
And then
you felt full, like you weren't hungry anymore, but you felt like, oh, man. Like after you eat like a whole cake, You're like, oh God!
Yeah.
Like as it's going in your face, you're like, oh fuck, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good. But you know you shouldn't be doing it.
Except I wasn't thinking this is.
You know
good.
you shouldn't be doing it. And then by like the last bite, you're like, oh, why did I do that? And then 10 minutes later, you feel like, oh God.
Yeah, and so that was our Valentine's
It pretty much sums
Day
up
dinner.
the chicken meal.
Yeah, it wasn't very romantic. We watched Walking Dead after we ate that nasty food, and in the morning, Skip looked like somebody punched him in both eyes.
That's why I don't eat salty food. Like, I don't ever put salt on my food ever. Like, I just don't. You know, there's no reason for it because that's the perfect proof right there. There is so much salt in everything that we eat, especially if you like food that you get from a restaurant.
Yeah.
They just infuse it with salt. They cook it in like a broth that's salty. They fry it and add salt. Salt on everything. Every sauce they put on is dumped with salt. If it's not salt, it's sugar and like, you know, some other, you know, cornstarch saturated, you know, monosodium glutamate bullshit, whatever the fuck, right? So it's like, oh my God. And when I eat stuff like that, you're right. I retain a lot of water, whatever it is. But the only place you see it, like, is in my face.
You looked fucked up.
Yeah, I look like my eyes look like, I look like a fucking raccoon.
Yeah, it was weird how swollen your eyes were.
Yeah, and my fingers were like real.
We couldn't get our jewelry on.
I couldn't get my wedding ring. Like my wedding ring felt like it was cutting through my finger. I'm like, what the fuck? My fingers look like sausage links. I'm like, what the hell happened to me? I look in the mirror. I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so that, I don't know how I got off track with that.
I don't know. The moral is don't eat salty food.
Don't eat takeout.
Don't do it.
So I just got a few more things that I found online that I just wanted to mention. First of all, did you hear about what Manny Pacquiao did?
No, I did not.
He went on some gay rant about how he thinks that people in gay relationships are worse than animals.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So he was asked about his stance on gay marriage because he's running for president of the Philippines after he retires. And he says, it's common sense. Will you see any animals where male is to male and female is to female? And so then I thought to myself, Manny Pacquiao, you're an asshole. And remember that whole room at the Museum of Sex in New York City that we were in?
Yeah.
It was like a room of gay sex animals. In nature, there's many different species that are with the same gender. Many. So first of all, you're an idiot. And then he quickly posted an apology video where he was saying, I'm sorry for hurting people by comparing homosexuals to animals.
Because he realized there was even homos in the Philippines.
Well, listen, so then I was even happier to hear today that Nike dropped him like a hot potato.
Wow.
They were like, and not only did they drop him, but they were making statements like, we don't support any statements like that. Like, they went off.
Yeah.
So, like, and Nike's big. So he's losing sponsors, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you say these days. Even
you can think it if you want to.
Yeah, you can think whatever you want, but the moral of that story is keep your mouth shut. I mean, you can hate all you want. You can be racist. You can be whatever the hell you want to be in the confines of your own four walls. But when it comes time to like putting that shit out on the internet, and especially if you're running for public office, all I can say about that is you're a dumbass.
Yeah, and I'm glad he got what he deserved.
Yeah,
because he's a mean-spirited person.
Nobody likes mean people.
Nobody likes mean people, especially me.
You know what? Listen, I don't advocate or necessarily stand behind. I'm not going to take a stance to say that whatever. My point is, do what you want to do in your life. Like if you want to be in a same-sex relationship or whatever it is that makes you happy, do what you want to do. I just don't like people that stand up and say that everybody should be doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what you do, whether it in the right or wrong of other people's eyes, do whatever you like. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. Just don't say that I should be doing it.
Right.
And the same goes the other way around. People have the right to do what they want to do with their lives. As long as they're not affecting other people, then by all means, knock yourself out, man. You know?
Right. So I also found amusement in this other story that I found online. A guy in Michigan caused his own death when he cut himself critically on a glass window while breaking into an empty house. Construction workers found this moron.
Is this the dumbass segment?
I just love this. Construction workers found this moron dead at this house. He died showing a gaping hole in the bottom panel of a window. There was blood all over the place, and they found him. And so what I found even funnier, because his mother and his baby mama, they were like, "What happened to him? Somebody murdered him? Where did he go?" They don't know where he is. So this is the best part. At the end of this article was both his mother and his girlfriend told local reporters that they thought he had been murdered. He was an energetic person, his girlfriend said. He was genuinely just the sweetest person you could ever meet. He was not the type who would start anything. Okay, so this is the fucking asshole that's breaking into other people's houses and trying to steal shit. He's great.
Right.
He's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, he's just a thief. And he takes things from people that don't belong to him.
So maybe that's it. Like, justice has been served in that sense, right? Mm-hmm.
Listen to this, though. And then she shared a link on Facebook to a GoFundMe page set up to help the family with funeral expenses. Really? Really? People are supposed to help you pay for his funeral? Pay for the thief's funeral?
Right.
Really?
I don't think so.
Fucking people just disgust me.
I don't think so. Oh, hell no.
God. Do you remember, I think it was maybe like the third or fourth, or very early on when we were of our episodes, I was telling you about this woman who went on Craigslist and said that she was selling baby clothes and maternity clothes, and a pregnant woman came to her house, and then the woman proceeded to try to take the baby out of the pregnant woman. She she stabbed her, she tried to cut the baby. Yeah, she cut the baby out, and then she had the baby upstairs in her bathtub. It was all bloody, and her husband came home, and he thought that it was her. He thought that she was pregnant. I guess because she was going to try to pretend that she was, pregnant and then steal somebody's baby. So he thought she had the baby. They get to the hospital, and the baby was already out. She said, "It's not my baby." At some point when they got to the hospital, the woman who she stole the baby from ended up surviving because she had managed to call the police somehow. So now this whole thing is in court.
That's the craziest story you've ever heard.
I know.
Right?
Well, now this whole thing is in court. And the woman who stabbed the pregnant lady is on trial. She, of course, pled not guilty because nobody's done anything wrong in any fucking case. Everybody's not guilty.
All right, so she cut the baby out of a person.
Yeah, and the baby ended up dying.
Left the woman for dead, sliced open.
Yes.
Right? Steals the baby.
Yes.
Goes back to her house.
No, she was home the whole time. This all took place in her home.
Oh, right. So what happened to the woman? Did she run out of the house, or she
called the police.
Okay.
Meanwhile, when the police came, the woman with the baby, who the stealing,
cut the baby out.
She and her husband were with the baby already out at the hospital. So now this whole thing is this is where I'm going with this story. This woman is on
bizarre,
trial,
man.
but listen to this.
God.
Listen to this though. She can't, and this is a very fine line. It's very tricky. The woman can't get charged with murdering the baby because there was no evidence that it had ever been alive out of the uterus. So, because in order for them to charge her with murder they'd have to legalize killing a fetus, which would then be an abortion law. It's interferes with the abortion law and the wording and all of that shit.
So the mother that was carrying the baby survived this whole ordeal,
right?
Right. But the baby, for obvious reasons,
right,
just hacked out of her mother, cut the umbilical cord, whatever.
Yep.
The chances of having a baby, by the way, just in the backseat of a car and the baby surviving is not always that high. They do a lot of things at the hospital when you have a baby to keep the baby alive when it first comes out. All sorts of respiratory things, and a lot goes on with that baby. You don't just pop it out and it's like, meh, and then you got a baby, right? So, it's no surprise to me that the baby died.
Yeah.
But, man, what a crazy person. Holy crap.
Well, because this article was saying that the charge of unlawful termination of a pregnancy is a result of a law intended to be a compromise between opponents and supporters of abortion rights. So, being that she can't get charged with killing this baby, it's like
So what are they going to charge her with? Attempted murder on the woman? I mean, they got to. Think about that. She cut her open. Right, and obviously, didn't care about her safety at all.
They can charge attempted murder for the woman, but not for the baby.
Right, and for attempted murder these days, you probably get a slap on the wrist and.
But they should come to Suffolk County. They'll get probation.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
She can hang out with you.
Yeah, it's cool here. You can do anything.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really
You
cool.
guys can have lots to talk about. You can have a good old time with her.
Yeah. So that's what's going on in the world today. I think I'm not going to even get into the whole abortion topic. I'm just saying the irony of that this was very different than somebody willingly going in for an abortion. Somebody stole a baby out of its uterus and it died, and this is a very strange case.
Well, we got an election year coming up, and pro-life, pro-rights is going to be a big topic on that front. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. Meanwhile, let's do a couple of Skip's tips, because I got a couple people that were asking me some questions online at Facebook and Twitter and some of that stuff.
Okay, woohoo, let's hit it.
When helping people with their homes, they call Skip Bedell.
You want to avoid a headache and save money, he's the man to talk to. Skip Bedell.
So Wes Smith, I believe, lives in Chicago, and he says that, he's got problems with cracks in the slab, the floor of his garage, in the concrete. And, typically, especially when you live in areas that you have a big swing in temperature, a lot of things can happen when the house expands and contracts. And that includes concrete, and the ground swells underneath your house, and the water tables that affect the ground underneath that. So a lot can cause concrete to crack, including tree roots, and there's a series of different things. First of all, I'd tell you to try to find out what's causing that, because it could be possible that you have a tree root situation underneath that slab. Perhaps that was never addressed properly when the house was built. That being said, there's a couple things that you can do to correct that crack. So there's a few products out there. I will give you the name of 3 different ones that I'm familiar with. They all work really well. There's 2 that are an epoxy product, and basically that is comprises of a couple of different forms of this product that you mix together, a couple of different parts, like part A and part B. There's a hardener and an activator and resin. And one of these products is Crack Weld. This is funny just even saying that, right? Like Crack Weld. But Crack Weld makes a really great product. It's also an epoxy setup. It's a 2-part mix. It comes in the concrete floor repair kit. You can find all these products on our website, by the way. Doxy. Check out Doxy. DOXY is also an epoxy concrete repair kit. And there's also one more that I recommend. It's called Fast Patch DPR. It's a polymeric concrete repair material, and that's also something that you'll mix. It comes like a mixed bucket, a couple different parts. You use a mixer paddle on a drill. You whip that stuff up. You can put that into the crack. All of these products basically adhere to the concrete, as opposed to just using like a Portland mix or a concrete mix that you can pack into there. I think you were talking about just mixing up some concrete when you wrote to me online. So check out these products, because they adhere to the concrete and they will not crack again. All of them are super strong and they all work well. So depending upon your problem, you can go on and look at these different things, and they all work a little bit differently. See which one will help you out the best. All right. Anthony, looks like Detano said, how do you know which wall is load-bearing in your house? They have a kitchen that has like an L-shaped kitchen setup. There's a couple of walls with a pass-through that goes into their kitchen, and I guess they're looking to do probably what we're doing in our kitchen, and also what I just got done doing on that giant remodel that I just finished, is opening up the wall that separated the living room or the dining room and the kitchen, and expanding that, making a big open floor plan, as everybody seems to like now. So if you look up in your attic or down in your basement, depending upon if you have access to either one of those two, you'll be able to see which way the beams are running on the floor and the ceiling. Those are the joists. If you go down in your basement, you'll see which way they look clearly. Just by looking up on the ceiling, you can see which way the floor beams run. And there'll be also a main beam that will run perpendicular or across all those beams. That is the main beam in your house. Typically, they're held up by steel columns, and that's going to support all of those other beams that are running across the floor. It's going to be going in the opposite direction. Your load-bearing walls are going to be running in the same direction as that main beam, always opposite the floor beams, opposite the ceiling beams, or joists, we call them. If you don't have a basement, you can get up in your attic. If you have access to that space, you can also see which way they're running. But either way, the load-bearing walls are typically going to be holding up those joists and running the opposite direction. So if you can locate which way the beams in your floor and ceiling are running, the load-bearing walls will always be running opposite to that. If you don't have access to either one of those spaces, you can go outside your house, the front lawn or whatever, take a look up on your roof and look at which way the main ridge of the roof runs. And you will see the load-bearing walls all run parallel to that main ridge. So if the ridge is running, obviously, from left to right on your house, go back inside your house, and all the walls that run parallel to the direction that the ridge of the roof runs will be your load-bearing walls. All right. Samantha Sharp. Samantha Sharp asks, is it possible to replace a fiberglass shower unit without ripping up the existing floor? We replaced the floors in our house a year ago with nice travertine tile. Very nice.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and just couldn't afford to replace the shower unit at the same time. Eventually, it'll need to be replaced, but I'd really like to keep the existing flooring intact. Any suggestions? Okay, so if you have a fiberglass shower pan or shower floor in your shower right now, those are made in standard sizes for the most part, and you will be able to replace that with one of the same size. Typically, that opening is going to be 60 inches wide if it's a standard tub enclosure, and the depth usually ranges anywhere from 30 inches up to 36 inches. Whatever that pan measures, you should be able to get a new pan, the same size as that. So you'd have to be able to get underneath that to disconnect the plumbing. I don't know what your setup is there, if you're in a slab or how it is, but you'd have to be able to get through that drain and disconnect the drain. You can also do that through the top from removing the grill and cut that drain and get the pan out of there. It's going to take a little bit of work. You're definitely going to need someone that's, does tile installation and plumbing, but you can get a replacement pan for that because they do come in standard sizes. The other side of that is that you can also put in there a mud pan or a dry pack pan made out of concrete. We make those out of dry pack mortar and then tile that. That's a little more involved, but you can make that any size you want. Either way, you should be able to keep that tile intact. So if you take some precautions to protect it, cover it up, and you get that pan out of there gently, I would bet that you'll be able to find one that will replace it the same standard size and you won't have to take up the tile. Worst case scenario, even if you had to take up one course of the tile closest to the shower pan and then put that back in, and regrout that again, that might be the worst. But I think that if I were there doing that job, we could get that thing out and replace the pan without damaging the existing tile. All right, what else we got here? Is there something else that we can answer for somebody? Shannon Rans, cousin Matt hasn't received any fart recordings from you lately. I would like to know if the well is dried up. The answer is no. The well is definitely not dried up, and I will be happy to send you some real soon. In fact, I'm going to work on that as soon as we get done here.
Somehow I have a feeling that's going to be the first thing you do as soon as I hit stop on the recording.
Angelo Mike, I have a room in an old townhouse with a large floor-to-ceiling window. The heat doesn't work too well. In the winter, everything gets cold, even the walls and the floor. I have bubble wrap on the window, thin. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. I'm thinking you're probably talking about the plastic wrapping on that. But a door sweep under the door and several blankets. All right. Does that mean you're wrapping yourself up in the several blankets, Angelo? What are you doing over there? Is there any way to help insulate the room to keep it warm? It's a rental, so I don't want to pay too much to do any big changes. I have a space heater, but I don't want to run it because space heaters use up a lot of electricity. Yes, they do. There's some different types of space heaters out there that are much more efficient than others. But to answer your question, most likely the thing that's letting out most of the heat in that room is the giant floor-to-ceiling windows. So you did a good job in that you want to seal it up on one side. If you're using the thin cellophane on the inside, you guys have heard me talk about that before. That stuff actually works really well. It's a cheap way to seal up a window if you can't afford to replace the window. They make these window insulation kits, which you can get in your hardware store or any of the big box, Home Depot, Lowe's. And basically, it comes with double-sided tape. It's like a cellophane wrap. You put it over the window. You cut off the excess around the double-sided tape. You stretch it tight, stick it to the tape, and heat it up with a blow dryer or a heat gun. Now, they make that for an interior and also for an exterior. So I'm not sure if this is the stuff you're talking about, Angelo, or you said bubble wrap. Bubble wrap, you're not going to be able to stretch that tight. You might want to try out this product. Use it on the interior. They also make it for the exterior. You can
do both.
Yeah, you can double that up, actually. and put a seal on the outside too. Anything you can do to keep the air from coming through that window. Chances are it could be an old single pane window, which has no insulation value hardly at all. The other thing you can do if you want to get a little more into your DIY skills, I don't know how much access you have to tools or how handy you are, but if there's molding around that window, you could also take a small flat bar like a pry bar. First, take a utility knife, cut around the edges to where the molding meets the paint. If there's any caulking there so you don't peel the paint off the wall. Take a flat bar and pry the molding off carefully so you don't break it. And most likely you're going to see a gap all the way around that window that I would bet to say it's not insulated properly. You can either use a spray foam that's designed to do around windows or pack some fiberglass insulation around that. If you're going to use the spray foam, make sure that you're using the right type. They make types for windows and doors that is a minimal expansion on that expanding foam. If you use just a regular expanding foam, it'll expand too much and it'll make it so the windows won't even operate. It'll just push out the frame too much. So pack some insulation around that, and then you can nail your moldings back up over that. Just sealing that window up, I'm sure, is going to make a big difference for you. Outside of that, you might want to call your landlord and say, hey, dude, give me some assistance here. The place is cold. All right. Anybody else? I think that's about it. You got anything else for me there, wifey?
I don't have anything for you. I had some random thoughts.
Whoa, a random thought?
Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
Okay.
They're just random thoughts that go through my head.
Alison's brain is working overtime. Could be while she's driving or standing in line. So what is she thinking? What goes through her thoughts? Is it something profound or fucking just pissed her off? Get ready for random thoughts. Get ready for random thoughts.
I am so glad that I finally remembered to bring deodorant to work for those days when I have stinky pits.
Oh.
That was a random thought while I was at work. That's actually happened to me on a number of occasions. You ever forget to put it on in the morning and then you start to stink and it's too late by the time you manage to get yourself some?
I hate it when that happens.
It actually happened to me once. Oh, God. Somebody had a spray deodorant, which, by the way, do they even sell that anymore? Spray deodorant?
I don't know. I use the stick.
Somebody in my office once,
stick clear
15
stuff.
years ago, it fucked my shit up. It was I used it because I didn't have anything else.
Right.
And it gave me some weird pit allergy for years. I had sensitive armpits.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
You got the itchy armpit syndrome?
Yeah, it was really bad.
How come everybody in those Celino and Barnes commercials has bad skin?
Celino and Barnes,
injury attorneys, blah, 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 blah.
Colby Yates. That's pretty sad. We actually know that commercial.
Yeah.
That means they're spending a shit ton of money on advertising. If you can actually sing that jingle.
Yeah, they have had a lot of different phone numbers, but now they're Cole 8.
Yeah.
But remember the first commercial theirs, they had a pretty lady, but she had really bad skin. And now they've got this black guy, and he wears an earring in one ear, like a diamond earring,
right.
And he's got really bad skin. And I'm just wondering, do they think that if the person is too pretty or perfect, that it won't be a believable commercial?
I don't know. That's an interesting casting question, right? So when they get into people to...
When do you ever see people with visible acne scars with close-ups be so prominent in commercials?
I don't know. I guess I haven't thought about that one.
Yeah. So I thought that was just very interesting that they're people. I don't think about their attorney services. I think about why does that representative of their company have such bad
Who's
skin?
casting for their commercials?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay.
Stupid fucking electoral system with the delegates. That's such bullshit. They should go by all of the votes from the people.
Yeah. Because they're doing all these caucuses and shit like that now, and then you have these delegates, and it's the delegate, sometimes they count the delegate vote instead of the number of votes. Remember back when John Kerry was running against Bush?
Yeah.
He won the popular vote, but the presidency went to Bush because of the delegates, the electoral votes.
Well, there you go. Whatever happened to the people's vote?
Yeah, that pisses me off. It's really fucking stupid. I mean, what's the point of having the people voting if they're not going to be the ones who decide?
We probably just shouldn't even vote at all. Just leave it up to the delegates.
Well, I mean, essentially that's what you're doing because
Evidently,
they're
it
going to
seems like
vote
that's
for
what it
who
is,
they're
right?
going to vote for anyway. So what's the fucking point?
There you go.
Finding king-size sheets is like trying to find Bigfoot.
Sasquatch.
I swear to God, it's like go to Marshall's or Home Goods and try to find king-size sheets.
How about try to find king-size sheets that are really deep, like we have a giant mattress?
Oh,
That's Venus.
she's so pretty.
That's our little kitty cat.
She's yelling at me. She's hungry.
She's like, you better feed me, bitch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be right there. We're almost done.
She is very... She's hungry.
So cute.
She's like, nope, I want to eat now.
Okay, we're almost done. I promise. I've only got a couple more thoughts.
Oh, God.
Mommy doesn't have that many thoughts.
Mommy doesn't really think that much.
I don't think a lot.
Why the fuck can't buses or, like, vehicles carrying equipment move over to the shoulder for, like, a minute to let the whole fucking parade of cars that are, like, crawling behind you get past you? Just common sense, people.
You ever notice that? Like, I'm on my way to work. This always happens. There's, like, either a bus rolling real slow or, like, landscaping shit, like trucks with all the equipment and stuff. And they know that there's like the only people that are on the road that are the ones in a line behind them. There's nobody in front of them.
Right. Well, you just answered the question right there. It's built into the question. There's a line of cars behind them, so if they pull over, they're going to sit on the side of the road for like 30 minutes as the entire trail of path.
No, I mean it's just courtesy. It's just
They're
fucking courtesy.
They're like, nope, I don't care. I'm going to do 15 miles an hour, and you're all going to wait behind me.
People, if you're driving a large like truck or a bus and you're the slow one on the road, be kind, be considerate, pull the fuck over.
Or how about at least get in the right lane?
No, I'm talking about like there's a singular lane, like there's no place else to go, but you're stuck behind this moron. I always get stuck behind the same assholes every morning on the way to work.
Maybe you should take a different route.
That's the shortcut. Kind of.
Evidently, it's not.
Fuck. Okay, now I'm in trouble.
That was
so
loud.
yeah, that's the one that tells me that we got to just cut
She's
this
like,
up.
all right, listen, I'm about to jump on the table and claw your ass.
Okay, yeah. So we got to put this to rest now because I got to go feed everybody.
All right, it's on Cat Patrol. And thanks for coming back to Hammer Nails Podcast, everybody.
Yeah, we want to remind you guys that we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter and Instagram. We have a website, hammernailspodcast.com. And on that website is an Amazon link. If you guys could click on that when you shop at Amazon, it really helps us out a lot because this is a free podcast, and that's the way that you can show your love. So please do. If you're going to shop at Amazon, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps us out. So thanks again. Don't forget to tell your friends. It's the only way that we can help our podcast to grow. We really appreciate it.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for checking in.